and I had a very low confidence. I had no self-belief. And at 17, I had a turning point. I became a dad, right? And that was my turning point, and it gave me purpose. It gave me a why. I wanted to make this little girl proud of me. But I'm obsessed with serving our members. I have an obsession over it. I want to make sure that I can give people 10 times more value than whatever they've invested in our program. And so to do that, I need to make sure that I continue to attract good quality people. If you're building a company, it's very important that you can communicate the core values to everybody that's involved.
Welcome to the Little Did You Know podcast. Today we have a special one. We're going live on location to the Wealth Genius U.S. Investing Bootcamp with Alfonso Cuadra. You're not going to want to miss this one. Let's go. I mean, literally, let's go.
Great. Alfonso, the Godfather.
My brother.
Yes.
Good to be here.
Thank you. I appreciate you taking the time today. We are live at the U.S. Investing Bootcamp.
Yeah,
Genius.
You see, you had your podcast. We have a live audience.
Yeah.
Even though we're at lunch right now, but
no
it's all good. Thank you for coming by. We resonated, because we have like a very similar background, in terms of how we got started in the game. So thank you for coming by. I've been looking at what you're doing, man. Great things.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that. And to bring it back to that a bit, your store, Rugged Culture, you started in Ottawa. You got up to 15 locations, I believe.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I remember it. I lived in Ottawa for a short time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What?
I went in the store. Yeah. I remember it fully. And that at that time, it was big having those stores. Those brands, Averex and Ichi, all those brands at that time. It was a big thing to have those stores. So I'm curious. When you started it, did you see a gap? Did you see a need for it?
Yeah, so it's basically 1995. Okay, so you weren't even born yet.
Oh, I was
How old were you in 95?
14.
14. Okay. So you were my demographic.
Yeah, exactly.
So we were. So okay. So you look. I guess you look a lot younger than you are. I came from a war-torn country.
Yes.
I came here as a refugee. My mom had 2 suitcases and $30 in her purse.
Right.
We originally moved to Vancouver. And the area where we lived in Vancouver was really bad. Prostitutes in the back, gangs. And I was 11 years old, and I was already they were bringing me home. The cops were bringing me home, So my mom thought, probably a better place for my son to be at is Ottawa. Probably it's not as bad as Vancouver,
right.
Where we were in Vancouver.
Capital.
Yeah, it's a capital, probably very conservative. It turns out I ended up getting in trouble in Ottawa because it turns out I was in trouble.
Yeah.
It turns out I was in trouble, right?
Wherever you would have been, you might have got in trouble.
But I guess, I don't know, I had definitely had a burning desire. I grew up in Ottawa housing, right, in the projects. And there was poverty everywhere, This is during, the 90s. So I moved to Ottawa in 91. And it was the beginnings of hip hop, I mean, obviously it started way before that, but
in Canada,
in Canada,
the culture,
I remember in Vancouver, I was mesmerized by people breakdancing. They had that cardboard box outside, and my first cassette tape was the Fat Boys.
Right. Okay.
Right, and then my second one was Run DMC, and then LL Cool J.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was my influence at 11 and 12 years old. So we were very much influenced by the culture.
Yeah.
Right. When I looked at why I liked the Fat Boys is because there was a Latino guy in there.
Okay.
Right. So one of the guys was Puerto Rican, and I'm like, wow, I can resonate with that guy because it's someone that looks like me.
Yeah.
And so this love of hip hop was alive and well in my heart, and I wanted to be a rapper.
Okay.
And I had
did you try? Yeah.
We had a band and a rap group. And it was called Menace to Society.
Oh, okay, nice. After the movie.
Yeah, well, before the movie.
Before the movie.
Yeah,
okay,
before the
wow.
movie.
Yeah,
I would have to. I'm gonna actually sue them one day, but no, I'm just joking. but I couldn't remember my lyrics.
Ah, okay. Okay.
So it was, I don't know, it was not my thing.
Right,
I was,
fair enough.
it was, I wasn't going to be good at it. I was good at basketball.
Okay.
But I'm 5'6",
There you
so
go, yeah.
that was going to be a long road.
limited, yeah.
Yeah, very limited. And so there was not many choices. Then it was like the drug life or whatever. That's not going to bring me any closer to what I really wanted. School wasn't going to be the thing for me. Academically, I wasn't a good student. Right, and I wasn't inspired in school. And anyways, I ended up dropping out of high school at 15 years old.
Okay.
Living on the streets, trying to survive, and I had a very low confidence. I had no self-belief. And at 17, I had a turning point. I became a dad. Right, and that was my turning point, and it gave me purpose. It gave me a why. I wanted to make this little girl proud of me, and so I ended up going back to school. And I got a job, $5 an hour, and it was a horrible job. I was a dishwasher, right? And so I was like, man, I got to get out of this. And $5 an hour is not going to be enough to raise a family. And so what I ended up doing, I took my first paycheck, and I bought jeans and T-shirts, right, from street vendors in Montreal, Toronto. I was fascinated with New York, so I went to New York and the street vendors and whatever I could find. And I remember the first time I did this, I bought a pair of jeans in bulk, right, for $20 a piece. In Ottawa, they had never seen this stuff, right? Probably all bootleg anyways, but they had never seen it, right? And so I sold a pair of jeans for $60 that I bought for $20, making a $40 profit.
Okay.
You can't go back and work for $5 an hour. And so something inside me told me I was going to pursue profits for the rest of my life.
Okay.
And so that's how I started. I was a kid with the backpack, with always something to sell in the backpack, whether it's shoes, I was like very industrious from that perspective, and obviously I was doing something that I loved because it was hip hop clothing. When I graduated, my vision was to have my own physical location, right? And I just wanted one.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is going to be better than a job, right? Like, it's like anybody can have a job, but if I'm doing something I love, and the only reason I opened up that business was so I could actually have control over my time and earn a living, so I can support my family and my daughter at the time, and not have to go and check in somewhere. Right. That was my whole. I was like, can I rap? No, I can't rap. Can I play ball? I can't play ball. I mean, I was pretty good, but I was not going to make it in the NBA to make some money. And so I thought this was the only avenue that I could take a passion, and because I had no business skills.
Right.
And so the passion was so overwhelming that it kind of like, it was kind of like, no one looked at the business part was not on point,
Right. And it's probably not even something that crossed your mind. Am I going to be good at business? You just saw, I can do this.
Yeah.
And I can do my passion, and it's giving me a little bit of money. It sounds like you had self-awareness pretty early on, which sometimes can take people a lifetime to figure out that kind of thing. But is that
well?
Accurate?
It was because my daughter was born.
Yeah. When
you become a parent, now we're not encouraging for people to become parents in order to discover themselves.
Yeah, I waited till 40.
Yeah, that's pretty good, But I was 17, and that was a big kick in the ass.
Yeah.
I grew up with no dad. Right. I know a lot. I would say 50% of my friends didn't have parents, both the parents at home. Yep. And so I didn't want to do that. Right. And so I had no choice but to step up, and I stopped blaming the world for my problems, and I started to take responsibility over my life.
And again, I think that's big to be able to realize that so early on in your life, because I think it takes a lot of people a lot longer.
Well, most people will wait until something happens. It's like when you either hit rock bottom or something dramatic has to happen for you to wake up. Most times, especially me, I had no self-confidence. I didn't have any self-worth, right? Now, the hardest part was once you have the idea, how you going to execute?
Right.
Because society is going to tell you it's not possible.
Right.
You need money. I had no money and I had no job. I had no credit.
Yeah.
My mom's a single mother and we lived in Ottawa housing. We didn't have any family here, so there's no other monies that we could get or collect or whatever. So, all of these obstacles and all the reasons I could have not done it,
Yep.
I made it the reasons why I was going to do it. And, I had my idea and, I was going to bring hip hop to Ottawa.
Yep.
And, I would say 96% of the people that I pitched that idea I wanted them to invest.
Right.
They're like, this is not going to work. They said hip hop it's only going to be a fad.
It's a fad, right?
And the second thing that they said was, which I'll never forget, they're like, there's no hip hop stores in Ottawa.
Exactly.
Right? And so I was like, yeah, that's why it's going to work.
Yeah,
you know what I
exactly,
mean?
yeah.
But for them, it was like a negative. It's like, if no one's doing it, it must not be any good. Right? And so, but I saw it as an opportunity, an opening for me. And so, to be honest with you, I raised $2,700.
Yeah.
That's how I started my entire business.
Right.
$2,700. And, by the time I was 21, I had stores all across Canada.
Right.
And, I fell in love with being an entrepreneur.
I noticed you started creating content back then, right?
Yeah.
You had a handy cam and you weren't necessarily in a lot of it, but you were filming from what I've seen.
Yeah.
So the importance of content now is crazy. So again,
So a lot of everything I did to build, I built my rugged culture from like the grassroots.
Yeah.
Like this is like bootstrapping, like no money, $2,700. What I was good at, it was connecting with people, right? And so I thought because there was a few things that, when you start a business, you're like giving birth to a new child. You got to protect it like a father and nourish it like a mother. You're not going to take, food from your baby to feed yourself, but you got to live, right? So I was trying to figure out what are the things that I could do to make money to continue to make sure that we don't eat the profits of the business. So I became a barber. Okay. So, maybe you knew, maybe you didn't know.
No, I didn't know.
But
that
I was a barber, right? I'll tell you that story in just a moment. And then I started throwing events. Right. And what I realized that when I throw events, I have access to all these people, and now they're all aware of my business, and so we threw lots of events. So we had an entertainment company. We brought in artists. We brought in all the top people at that time in hip hop to Ottawa.
Okay.
And
do you remember any of the artists that you brought in?
Well, we brought Fat Man Scoop,
Okay.
Lloyd Banks.
Oh,
we brought in a lot of it.
Yeah,
It was Dead Prez.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. We brought in a lot of people to Ottawa. And access people maybe they wouldn't have had access to.
Yeah.
They'd have to drive to Toronto or Montreal.
Yeah.
But that kind of put us on the map, right? Because now this little shop is now doing things.
Right.
You know what I mean? And those same skills we transferred into building the real estate business.
Yeah.
The content, making sure that, okay, when you have an event or when you're doing stuff, when you have your name out there, everyone that's there, they're aware of what you're doing. And so it was like an easy transition for me, because I just used the same way I've built my first business is how I've built the real estate business.
And was there a moment that it clicked, like to transfer that into real estate, or was it just a natural progression? I saw one video you talked about it was a goth store and you had to paint it and things went wrong.
Oh, you went deep in the internet.
Yeah, I did, yeah. So you were like, it was almost like you were dealing with real estate at that point.
Yeah. So the problem is when I was young, there's the good thing is that we started in the 90s during a recession.
Yeah.
So you had a lot of empty units. Like you would go down to St. Catharines in Montreal, and it's all the units were empty. So we were able to get really good deals for commercial spaces. But yeah, my first, when every time I would get new locations, we would be very hands-on and like creating the store.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, yeah, we we renovated whatever we could do, but
And so, kind of jumping forward now to the real estate, you seem to have very little turnover within Wealth Genius. People come, they join the company, and people don't seem to leave. Is it something that you find in people, or do you think it's the company, the mission, the vision that people are drawn to and don't want to leave?
Well, one is the core values.
Right.
So, if you're building a company, it's very important that you can communicate the core values to everybody that's involved. I was in the Holiday, we're in the Holiday Inn right now, but I was in a Holiday Inn one time, and I noticed how everybody's so friendly, right? So everybody's like, hello, good morning. And the guy that was, he was mopping the floor. He's like, good morning, and I'm like, what is it with you guys? Like, you guys are all, you're all so happy all the time. Yeah. And he points at the mission of the company on the wall. And, it really resonated with me, because if the cleaner knows the mission and why you're there, there's going to be buy-in from everybody, So I've made it my life to make sure that I can communicate my vision to everybody that's here, right? Whether it's a member, whether it's people that are working with us, whether it's our coaches, whether it's our speakers, or everybody that's involved. I'm clear with the way I communicate my core values, mission and vision for the company. Where are we going? Why are we here? Like, why is all this here? And you could probably pull aside any Wealth Genius member, and they'll be able to regurgitate. They'll be able to tell you, no, Alfonso, he's got a mission, no one left behind. They'll tell you all the things because of how I communicated that. And if everybody here is together and we all stand for something, we attract all like-minded people, then that's the gel that keeps everything together, because everybody's speaking the same language.
Right. And in terms of the expansion of Wealth Genius, you expanded Rugged Culture to 15 stores. When we spoke originally, Wealth Genius was, I think, under 1,000 members, maybe, under 100 members.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So you joined. When did you join?
I joined a year ago, January, but we had spoke a year or so previously.
Okay, so we were probably not even at 100 members.
Yeah, and you were like, "This is kind of it. This is like, I'm not going to be, bigger than this. We're just going to kind of keep it like this, a small community." And then, something clicked with you.
Yeah.
Expanded.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious how that happened.
I'm obsessed with serving our members. I have an obsession over it. I want to make sure that I can give people 10 times more value than whatever they've invested in our program. And so to do that, I need to make sure that I continue to attract good quality people. So we're always protecting the validity of the group, right? We always want to make sure that the people that are here are of the highest quality. So we have that vetting process. We go across Canada and the U.S. and we go into rooms, and a good 15% of the people would say it's not for you, and then people select themselves to come into Wealth Genius, and they make an investment, and that investment already puts everybody at the same level. It's like different quality people that are all of like mind. Everybody sees the importance in investing in themselves. Right. And so the more people we bring, the more people you have to play with. Yeah. Right? And that means that the more transactions, the more lives we can change. And for us, it's about how can we inspire the world to create financial freedom. Yeah. And if we have such a audacious goal, that means the action steps that we take have to be very different. And so this is why we're doing events. I'm here. We have like, 150 people or whatever, and all these people are here, and we're continuing to build the community. We add events, our Expand conference, right? That could not happen without people. Right. The gap between where you are and where you want to go in life will always be people. So we want to cultivate and help people engage in activities that are good to them. people, when we were trying to decide what to call this thing, there was a few names that were thrown out, like Alfonso's multifamily course or whatever. I didn't want my name attached to it because I want Wealth Genius to live forever. And so my idea is, like, if we can create a space where everybody can plug into, which everyone is supporting one another, then it's gonna have legs. Now we can truly inspire the world.
Yeah. I'm curious, you talk about all the events, you're across the country all the time. I toured for many, many years. I know what it takes. I know what it's like. How do you keep up the energy?
People give me energy. When I'm at home alone, I'm like, you know, I'm tired. You know, I love people. I feed off people, and to see the results. Like every day, I get an email or a DM or a text of someone that I've met in the past, or they've come through my programs, or they've come through some sort of coaching that I've done, and they say things like, "Oh, because of you, I'm here," or because of what you said to me, now I can send my kids to school. I got a message, I would say a couple months ago. One of my students, he's like, because of you, I get to spend time with my son every single day. Thank you. Yeah. And so that just keeps me going. Yeah. Now I know I'm doing the right work, right? So I know that I just got to keep pushing, and making it better, adding value, making Expand Conference even better and bigger for everyone to benefit from. Yeah.
So you could slow down, you could kick back a little bit, take it easy.
I was retired at 30.
Yeah. So what's next? What's the future? What are things that you haven't accomplished yet that you want to?
Well, right now we're in the U.S. Investing Summit.
Yep.
So we're teaching Canadians to invest in the U.S. Mm-hmm. I think the next frontier for Wealth Genius is the U.S. We already have a strong group of members in the U.S. Mm-hmm. and we just want to expand on that.
Yeah.
If we're truly serious about inspiring the world, then we've got to really go across the world. Yep. And so we're going to, the U.S., we can spend the next 5 years in the U.S. building it. Yeah. But the next logical places for us are going to be probably Australia, the U.K., South Africa, Puerto Rico, Latin America. And ultimately, through our youth foundation, so we have the Cuadra Youth Foundation, we want to take that global. Like, we want to go to, all over, all of these developing nations. We want to go there, and we want to bring financial literacy, education, financial freedom to all of these people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, amazing. It's pretty incredible how much you've been able to expand in a really short time.
Thank you, brother.
Relatively, you. And the youth group is great. I sent one of my best friend's sons to the Sudbury group, and Mandy called me after and was like, he was awesome, Nico was amazing, and so very cool to be able to expose people to that. Last thing, what advice do you have for the world? I was gonna say just for new investors, but we're taking this worldwide, so. What's your message to the world?
The biggest message that I could ever give someone and stress to people about is take action.
Yeah.
The most powerful thing that you can do is take a step forward.
Yeah.
Right? Because nothing happens until you take that step. And so you can sit on the sidelines, you can wait, and ultimately nothing will happen if nothing happens. Right? The only way something will happen is by the action steps that you take. So you got to be willing to do the things today that other people are not willing to do, so you can live the life that other people wish they had.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that's what I would say. Anybody that's listening to this right now, just take actions. Take any action, but just keep on moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate your time.
Woo!
Let's go.
Getting some one-on-one time with the godfather of real estate himself, Alfonso, was a blessing. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed asking the questions. Till next time, stay hungry. Let's go.